Hi guys, FooXz here. You might know me from last year's MotoGP Esports Championship. On this video I would like to give you guys some insight on how to be faster on MotoGP 20. This time around we'll have a look at Jerez, one of the most iconic tracks in the MotoGP calendar. First thing first, before showing you guys with a bunch of information, it will be good to have a look at the track for yourselves. Try and check if the track is a fast-flowing one or a track that is full of stop-and-go corners. That is very important. In the case of Jerez, I would say it's a mix of both. You have fast bends and some very slow turns as well. So have a look for yourselves, and then we will continue to the next part of this video. Okay, now that we have a rough idea of what is the layout of the track, let's have a look to the settings menu of your bike. Okay, now that we are here, you can already spot there are 6 different menu tabs. The first one will be the tires. This is pretty much straightforward. The only thing that you have to use is the soft tires for the hot lap. They are the ones that provide you with the most grip. The only thing that will change in my case, because I like to brake as late as possible, will be the front tire. I will go for a medium tire. For some reason it works better when you're braking as late as possible, so this is something that you can try. On to the next tab, you can see the suspension settings. This is not as straightforward as with the tires, because there's a lot of different menu settings where you can fiddle with the different values of the suspension. It takes a lot of laps, a lot of trial and error, so it's hard to narrow down your perfect setup. But here on the screen you can have a look at my setup for the suspension. I feel it's one that is very balanced. It gives you a lot of grip, a lot of consistency, and well, this is the one that I used for the Jerez race on the MotoGP Sports Championship last year. On to the next tab, we can have a look at the rake and trail adjustments. There's not a lot of to play with, but here on the screen you can see my personal setting. I will say this setting will give you that extra bit grip on fast bends, so it will fit very well on this track. On the next tab we will have a look at the gearing. This is even harder to fiddle with than the suspension. It affects so many aspects of the bike: the engine braking, the acceleration, the top speed. So you have to be careful while you set these gears. On the screen you can have a look to my personal settings. This is the one that I found that is the most balanced one. It works pretty much on all the tracks, to be honest. Maybe you can tweak the final ratio to have a higher top speed, but it works pretty much on all tracks. On to the next one, we have the brakes. There's not a lot to mess around with, so just go with whatever you think is best. For me personally, I like to go with both small discs, the ones with less millimeters, 320 and 200. For me personally, I feel they give me more feedback. I can carry more braking power into the turn, into the apex. So try both and see which one works best for your style. On to the last settings tab, we have the electronics, the ECU. Here you can fiddle with the traction control, anti-wheelie, engine braking, and power maps. First thing first will be the power map. Always have it on 2 in order to have access to all the power of the bike. If you have it on 1 or 0, you will struggle on the straights. It might help you on acceleration, but you will lose too much time on the straight, so keep this one on 2. Anti-wheelie I will leave it at 2 because it helps you keeping the front wheel down, but without losing too much power from the electronics cutting your acceleration. Engine braking I will set it to 3. It has a good enough stopping power without locking up the rear wheel. And then last but not least, it will be the traction control. Set it on 2. It is the most balanced one. It will allow you to slide the rear tires on some of the fast turns, allowing you to steer into the apex of of the turn easily. But here's the thing: if you have some issues handling the bike, just bump these values up, maybe to 3 or even 4. But you have to take notice that you will lose some of your bike's power. You will lose some performance. Okay, so we start the lap. On the first turn, we brake on the white line of the left, downshift on the first gear, take full advantage of your engine braking, quickly pick up the bike and short shift into second gear, third gear, brake, first gear, use that engine braking, quickly pick up the bike and short shift to second, third gear, stay wide as possible and then close the line and hug as much as possible the inside curb. Coming out, we accelerate, fourth, fifth gear, quickly close the line into turn 5. As with the last turn, try to hug as much as possible the inside curve. We come out, fourth, fifth gear. Here we will brake on the DHL board on the left, downshift in the first gear as well. Here we go for a V-shaped line here in order to maximize our corner exit speed. Second, third gear. Here we just lift off the throttle and then accelerate, go wide to the right, then close the line again to the left. Try and stay as close as possible to the inside curve. Second, third gear, brake on the white line and downshift in first gear. Here we just manage the line with the throttle control. Accelerate, second, third gear. Here we briefly touch the brakes on the 150 meters and the rest of it we just manage it with our throttle control. We brake on the white line again and nearly miss the inside curve in order to do a V-shaped line in order to maximize our corner exit. Second, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, and we get a lap time of 1 minute 33.3. Not as fast as we can, but it will be a good race pace to have. Very consistent, very fast one. Well, this is it for today. These were the tips and tricks that I had for you guys in order to extract the maximum out of your bike on this track. Hopefully it will help you gain those extra few tens, and well, see you on the next one.